What's good, everybody, and welcome to Moments with the Mobleys. I am your man, Johnnie Mobley Jr.,
Hey guys, I'm his wife Deirdra.
and we still something like an ordinary couple.
With extraordinary purpose, greetings, salutations, accolades, and blessings to you all.
All right, y'all finna be a part of the real, because we recording, and my child know we recording, but she calling me anyway. What's up, Britt?
Hey, Dad.
You alive?
I am. It's a beautiful day. I'm sorry for bothering you. Are you ever done recording?
No, we actually in the middle of
Tell her
recording now.
that you said that she's live.
You're live right now.
Call me back. Stop. Oh, sorry. Hey, patrons. All right, bye. Sorry.
Bye. All right. So, whenever our children call us while we recording, I answer because they know we're recording. But for some reason they always they like it. They like it when we stop what we doing just to answer them.
Because what could y'all be doing? What do y'all have that's that in depth and takes you away from answering this phone if
All
I
right.
call?
So you did greetings, salutations, accolades, and blessings
I did.
already?
You didn't hear me?
I did.
Look at me. Okay. That's a piece of gray. I thought you had a piece of bread on your beard. Your lips are delectable.
Is that a word? Delectable. Oh, Jesus, here. Delectable. All right, so we finna get into this. This gonna be real short and sweet.
Oh Lord.
So my wife wanted to talk about the advantages and disadvantages in early marriage. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and start, man. Why this topic? Hold on, y'all. She texting.
Sorry. She said they were taking the market. It's probably because maybe he's still congested. I was just trying to find out. Okay, y'all, we checking on one of our grandbabies. So, hey y'all.
You want me to ask the question again?
Yeah, say it again. I apologize.
Why this topic?
Well, let me go back to delectable means delicious, extremely beautiful, or attractive.
I've just never heard the word. That was my ignorance and my bad.
Yeah, I just wanted to give that to you.
I thought you would make something up in a minute.
Will I?
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Act like you don't know who you are.
No, I will. I will make it up in a minute. Okay, so this was something that I wanted to go over with y'all. As y'all know, Mr. Mobley and I were married young, at 19, and I know the some of the challenges that we had. Why does all of this stuff keep popping up on here? I know some of the challenges that we had, of course. Some of the different trials and tribulations that we went through, but also a lot of the positive things that came out of us marrying young. And so it was a bit stressful at times because we were young and still figuring life out and not knowing who we were. And so, but as I always say, I wouldn't change anything for the world. It made us the people who we are today. We learned, we bumped our head, we cried, we laughed, we grew, we raised amazing children. And for that, I'm grateful. But yeah, and so we are going to share some of the advantages and disadvantages of early marriage. I found a article on onlymyhealth.com, but of course we're going to intertwine some of our stuff that if we agree, if we disagree, we'll let y'all know. as we always do. And so this I think, to each couple has to figure out what's going to work for them, what's not going to work for them. If they do, end up getting married early, talk about why y'all getting married, why y'all choosing to get married so early. Talk about, are you really sure that this is a commitment and a covenant that you really want to make? When we did it, I don't think either one of us really said, okay, I'm about to make a covenant with this man. This is serious. We gonna have all these bumps and bruises. And I thought about the blissful part of it. I knew I loved him. He loved me. We wanted to be together. We enjoyed one another, being together and being together. And so we just wanted to be together.
Sexually.
Yeah, that too. But that wasn't enough.
Don't lie to the people.
That's why I say be together, be together. That wasn't enough.
We were sexually active, as y'all can tell, with the amount of children that we have.
Yeah. And so we just, is getting married early is making that decision to settle down with that one person who you feel is your person. There may be other reasons. The woman gets pregnant and you feel a commitment to marrying her because y'all are pregnant. That's not going to change the fact that y'all going to still go through things. You may not love her. You may think you're going to grow to love her. But at the end of the day, you're still going to have challenges. And I think that's adding another challenge on top of it if you're only marrying her because she's pregnant. Or, so it's just a lot of other reasons that could go into it, especially if you're doing it to make sure that you're always with someone because you don't want to be by yourself. And so different reasoning, different decisions lead to other different decisions being made, which some of them, the marriages that started early, turn out very well. They have they're doing well. We are, but it wasn't without the stuff that we went through along the way. And so people will say, well, oh, I want so-and-so's marriage, or I like so-and-so's relationship. Y'all inspire me. Y'all are goals and all these things. Be your own goals. Don't put us on that pedestal because we've gone through stuff. 31 years, you don't get through it without you don't get married and then the next day is 31 years. You go through a series of events that test you, that grow you, that try you, that bring you closer together, that make you come further apart, that separate you. But at the end of the day, it's about the willingness to grow, willingness to accept change, a willingness to extend grace, the willingness to learn how to be selfless. And you got to grow up because it ain't for marriage ain't for this, for grown folk. Yeah. So these are some of, and Johnnie he saw a little bit of this, but I want your reaction when I read each one of the advantages and disadvantages, a brief reaction to how you feel about it. How about that? So listed as, these are the advantages that they're listing. A young mind is easier to adaptability and sustenance. As the mind grows old, it tends to become more habituated to firmness in the decision-making process, thus leaving far less possibilities for the couples to compromise on situations.
I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that.
It's just like hiring a new employee who knows nothing about a particular thing versus an employee who's, has 30-year experience. It's kind of hard to, train, but they're not as trainable.
So with
but I kind of agree and disagree with this one.
With it being young, I think the vigor is different when you're younger. Your body responds different when you're younger. You adjust a lot better when you're younger, which all these things help when you get older.
Mhm.
So if you find your footing, if you understand who you are when you get married and understand what that um, says, what that is, I believe you can. I believe you can you can set up ways to help you to be equipped for your later. I always say, when I was younger, I used to go in the gym and throw up 350 pounds, no problem. Now, body kind of different now. So when I go in there, it's about keeping the blood flow going, heart pumping, you know, working the muscles to keep them healthy. I don't need them huge. I just want to be healthy and strong. So I'm different now than I was then. So, but it being younger, you definitely have a lot more vigor, energy about doing certain things. You have you haven't been hit with the whole married, the children, the bills. You haven't been hit with that right out the gate type. So you can adjust. You're able to adjust a lot better, I believe, in some situations based on your outcome and what you see that marriage actually, what you believe and see your marriage and what it is. Younger people get married for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, but it's all. I think it's also um, they've never done it before.
It's new.
It's new,
Yeah.
and so of course the decision making, they don't have things to pull from. When making decisions, maybe what they've seen with their parents or whatever that looks like, or the experience growing up, but they don't have like a fresh set of. If you've been married for 30 years, you got stuff to pull from to make those decisions. Whereas newly married, you're still trying to figure it out. And like Johnny said, for some, I can understand why they say that, but in other reasons, it's a lot of room for error.
Yeah.
Um, and so either way, you gonna have to learn it. And I think we didn't think of all those things when we first went into it. We just knew we loved each other. We wanted to have a whole lot of sex, and we wanted to be together. So ta ta da da. And so everything else kind of came after.
And the energy is definitely different.
Right.
Now at 51, you know, I'm a lot wiser in the decisions that I make,
Yeah.
that we make. So what I would do when I was younger, I don't necessarily do now, in the same form. I
Yeah.
possibly can do stuff now, and I'm wiser, and because we done lived a life, you know, I found different ways to do stuff, which I could have probably preserved some areas of my life and my body if I'd have thought about this back then. But it is what it is. The process is the process.
Yeah.
So, but once you get to this age, life be life, and you got to stay on the move based on your capabilities.
Thank you. Says for women, an early marriage is safer in terms of pregnancy. And they said, of course, 25 is the ideal age, says some healthcare practitioners. Late marriage sets the biological clock ticking and leaves more scope for ectopic pregnancies and miscarriage. So that's one of the things they're using. This was not something that we were thinking about going into marriage early about.
No.
My clock is ticking. But this is a real thing for some people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't care how old you are. If the Lord has meant it for you to get pregnant at whatever age that looks like, even if you aren't getting married until 30 years old or 40 years old and want your baby with your husband, and you're not just going to marry just so that can happen because you're going according to your clock, it defeats the purpose on trying to. I think that shouldn't be a reason, because you just look. Some women, and we've seen it. They do look for a man because they want to go ahead and have a baby. It just is what it is. But that's another reason that they're given
Yeah.
for women wanting to go ahead and get married so they can have kids and not do it later in
Start a
life.
family. And
Right.
and what you got to keep in mind of some people have health issues, body issues. So even at a young age, it's
You can have
still
issues.
it's still
Yeah.
hard to, get married, or it's hard on not get married. Have a baby. It's
See.
hard on your body.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of challenges. All these different things. Like Deirdra said, we wasn't thinking about that.
Right.
We were just having babies.
It also says early marriage gives more time for couples to pursue their career comfortably and plan a child soon after. Late marriages often come with this conflict whether their spouses should give more importance to their already established career or family plan or plan a family.
Yeah, so I will adjust that a little bit.
Yeah.
The career part, and I get what that is saying, but the career part and the actual marriage relationship part are two separate things.
That you just create a balance.
Yeah, you have to create a balance.
Yeah.
But once you get married, the focus needs to be your relationship, your marriage, growing, finding your rhythm. All these things needs to trump the career part. Yeah, you got bills to pay, all this other stuff. But we've known couples who a man or the wife or the husband goes after their career, and then they just come home and they got a big house, a lot of money, and no family no more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Next it says also falling in love early in life and deciding to marry is the biggest advantage in early marriages because you get to choose your partner freely and decide whom to spend the rest of your life with at your own pace. Not really. I don't agree with that. You get to choose your partner freely. You can choose your partner freely whenever.
Yeah. Some people choose several partners.
Yeah, that too.
We said this before. A lot of people believe or don't believe in soulmates. We believe that God is our soulmate, and we become soulmates through Him. So, finding your soulmate or your person is what the young people say now. That takes time.
Yeah,
that takes time. It can't be a surface. This is my person, because everybody has stuff with them.
Right.
So
they're your person until what?
The representative represents very well in the beginning. But once the representative has reached its expire date, then the real whoever you are shows up. And then you take that deep breath like, all right, so this is who I really am. This is what it is. This is what my issues are. This is it. And you 5 years in a marriage with kids and done investing in stuff, and like this ain't what I wanted. So there's a lot of things to think about that. I don't 100% agree with that. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I can say, and we're not saying that we don't have energy and desires and still have the ability to create and something brand new and develop and all that. When you're younger, the energy is definitely there. The creativity, you haven't lived enough life to know that some mountains is a possibility that you don't need to be on. So you're more adventurous. Is that right? I don't know if I'm saying it, because we're adventurous too. Huh. I'll come back to that one.
You gonna put a pin in it?
Yeah.
Well, that's all for the advantages that they're listing. But we've seen things that we've gone through ourselves with getting married early. We've seen, a couple of our, well, one to be exact, I think the youngest daughter got married at the one of our daughters that got married, the youngest, I think was Brittany and Travis, weren't they?
Yeah, because
they got married at
They got married in their
20.
20s.
2021.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now
20.
next February it'll be 10 years, right?
Yeah.
This February it'll be 10 years. So they got married early.
Yeah.
So yeah. And the advantages and disadvantages can be a lot of different things.
But they saw us as a model as
Yeah.
well. So like I said, it some, you know, you think of age and a lot of people be like, oh no, don't go and do that because you're too young. But the age doesn't always equal maturity. But then sometimes, you know, for their age, they are mature just based on how they've grown up and what they've experienced and all these things. I would definitely say before, whether you get married or younger or whether you get married earlier, get yourself some premarital counseling.
The one thing that I will say is, I think an advantage of getting married early, especially when you're in that mindset of growing a family and building a legacy, you thinking that far out, and just like you said, that has a lot to do with the maturity level.
Yeah,
you can literally, when you marry, you can literally in that area grow up together and find your oneness and your rhythm at an early age. We did in some areas, but the older we got, the longer we were in it, we got stuff figured out through the help of, you know, God, as well as research and, you know, different pillars in our life.
Yeah, most definitely.
We were able to figure out what our niche was, what our rhythm was, what our songs, you know, whatever that is, we were able to find that out.
Yeah.
So I think getting married at a young age and understanding and knowing that this is, you know, the premarital counselor, you have to get that.
Yeah, we didn't. But
a lot of young people,
tell y'all, it's necessary.
Yeah, a lot of young people get married. A lot of young people get married with uncommunicated expectations, and then they respond in their relationship as if they told their spouse all these things, and their spouse don't know.
And that's not just young, but we're saying that because we're talking about marrying earlier. But the one thing that I appreciate about, like I said, we been through our stuff and all that. But the one thing I appreciate about us marrying early is because we did, and even though it wasn't a plan, it wasn't something that we discussed, but we did have all of our kids back to back to back and early. And so we did grow with them. We made mistakes, a lot of them. We got up and did it again, did try to do better the next day. And so we were actually able to grow with them, experience things with them, literally raising them while we were growing ourselves. And so we are younger grandparents, and I would, if I had to choose between doing it later in life versus earlier in life, I would have the kids like we did.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I definitely had more energy.
Most definitely. Jesus.
A lot more patience.
Jesus.
Everything.
Yeah. So that's the part I would. So some of the disadvantages are lack of compromising abilities in either of the partners. And that can be true because you've never been in a relationship and you're younger. And if there is no counsel before you get married and you go into it, you tend to think everything is we gonna die on this mountain experience. Because you maybe haven't been able to flex those compromising muscles until you are pretty much like that girl on Instagram we saw last night who, and I know it's going around now, the girl didn't want to get out of the car. Her first date with the guy was at Cheesecake Factory, and she didn't want to get out of the car because she didn't want to go in there. And the guy explained it to her that this is our first date and like what's wrong. And she was saying because it was a chain restaurant, that's why she didn't want to go in there.
She had uncommunicated expectations,
right? And wasn't willing to compromise. And so even though they weren't married, But
it was their first date.
Right. She blurted and he waited an hour on her.
And she recorded
in the car. And she recorded this conversation. And so it was a plethora of things in that whole situation that happened because she expected, what she said, Johnny, to be loved and cared for.
And cherished and all this other stuff.
A man loves and cares and protects and cherishes.
And Buddy was like, this is our first date. This is our first date.
Right.
So we going to get to know each other. I came and pick you up.
I waited an hour for you. You weren't safe. You didn't feel safe.
She had excuses of why her stuff was what her stuff was. But her thing was she had this expectation.
Yeah.
And when Deirdra first showed it to me, the first thing I said was, I would have dropped you all back home.
Yeah, because she wasn't willing to compromise and go and have a nice dinner at Cheesecake Factory with the guy.
And get to know them.
First date. Like you said, I thought we would get to know each other. You know, I would have been a little suspect if he pulled me up to Waffle House on our first date. Then can we talk about this? And I'm dressed to the nines,
Sissy, you don't take somebody that looks like this to Cheesecake Factory.
To a chain restaurant. But the whole point of me bringing that up is she wasn't willing to compromise. And therefore, he told her he was taking her home.
Now,
so you can be home in the house and be pretty.
After he said, I'm taking you home, then she brought up, we can't compromise.
Right.
No, you wasn't willing to compromise, and then you putting all this on. First of all,
social media.
Why are you on recording your first date? Right. I don't understand. And I'm assuming because she kept saying, ladies, you don't.
Yeah, can you believe this?
I'm like,
and I get the social media age, and so you want to make a reel about your first date. That's all well and good, but now you won't get out of the car, and so you start recording him and record the entire conversation.
And he said, are you recording this?
He was over compromised at this point.
He was like, okay, I'm just going to drop you all back home.
Yeah. Good choice, sir. Another thing, it says education tends to take a back seat for couples planning to marry early as the focus shifts to areas such as financial stability and family planning. And that can happen. But the one thing that I said is it depends on the individual situation from situation to situation. Because in this very same thing, when Brittany and Travis were engaged and got pregnant in her senior year of college, the one thing that we really told her, like, hey, you've come this far, and so it's a must. We would very, very highly encourage that you finish your senior year. We are here to support. Even after she had him, we did what we needed to do to support them. Period.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to make sure that she didn't drop out in her last year, to make sure that Travis was going full force. And the one thing that I can say, again, this is based on individual situations. They both, she finished her senior year with child, and they've gone on that they both have got their bachelor's, and then they got their master's together. So it can be looked at as a disadvantage because some people does not have that support.
Yeah, and that was what I was gonna say. If you don't have that support, then all that stuff needs to be thought about.
Right.
If you don't have the support and you get married young, and you want to have children, but don't really understand the weight of the responsibility, then I would definitely say, finish school, get that part out of the way. And then once you get to a place to where you can go back to school online or whatever like that, then you can do that. And that's what me and my wife did at different areas of our life. I worked full time and I went to school
online.
And then Deirdra did the exact same thing. So, and it was just a support.
I went to the building, remember?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. I ain't had time to go to the building.
No.
So,
but we were able to do that because of his schedule at that time. You were working nights, remember?
Yeah.
And so I would literally get up, get the girls ready for school, and get them to school, and then I would go to school. And so it just worked out for us in that season. We made the sacrifice to do what we needed to do. So again, it varies.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say that's a disadvantage. It's based on the situation. But I still believe that it can be planned out for you guys to be successful. You know, just like you have to take everything. Success. A great friend of ours, he's always said this. He said, "Success come in pieces, not chunks, not the whole thing. It come in pieces. You take steps, detailed steps to get towards your goal, and then once you do that, you become successful in that, and then you build on top of that, and you continue to build levels."
Right.
So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. Just, in this last one, because they put this in there because they were saying how some early marriages are arranged, like in different cultures, different countries as well. And so they said that in the case of early marriages that are arranged, sexual relations can be strenuous. And that can be the case. Again, it's different scenarios, different situations, because there are situations where girls are forced to get married earlier, and so that can be very true about different sexual limitations and different things like that. But in this case, we're talking about getting married at an early age, in the free world and not being forced to.
Yeah.
It is again different for different people, but it can be a question, especially if the young person maybe has never had sex, or y'all are young and y'all haven't had sex. It can be a different experience for her.
Yeah.
It can be a different experience for him, and it's something y'all have to grow in and learn together. But especially maybe if he's been active and she is a virgin, or she's she never has. It could very well be vice versa, the same way. Just switch places. But I think a lot of when this situation is thought about is thinking about the girl maybe being the one that is a virgin, or the guy has been sexually active before. Y'all get married young, and so she's not sure of what to do, how to do it. A little challenged on that end. Maybe not experiencing some of the other people that the guy has been with. So there's all sorts of things that could go into it. Well, of course, that could happen with an older woman as well, but because you are younger, because you are susceptible, because there's no experience there.
Yeah.
That can be something that's thought about. But again, before we got married, we were sexually active. So that wasn't an issue for us. But the things that we had to learn along the way, the experience that we did go through, that again, like I said, some of them pulled us apart, some of them drew us closer together. But at the end of the day, we both had to grow up.
Yeah.
We couldn't stay the same. We had to offer grace, even when we felt like we didn't want to, but we chose to, because we chose to be with one another. And so it's about, making choices, and sometimes it's bad choices, and you having to ask for forgiveness, and you being upset, and you arguing, and you loving on one another, and you going through different stages and seasons with our health, different seasons with where we are, the way we handle things, the way we deal with things, the way we communicate, the way we didn't communicate. It all that goes into it. Yeah. And so this, like I said, I told the girls this before. I said every relationship does not work out how we think it's going to work out. At the end of the day, you can't base your situation based on other people's situations or their stories. It has to be based on your life and what you're doing and what you're engaging in. But the one most important thing, guys, and if we haven't said this enough, we'll say it again: get some type of premarital counseling, guys, so y'all can talk about.
Not some type.
I'm sorry. I'm saying that in a matter of
get
premarital
premarital
somebody,
counseling.
right? Get premarital counseling. Of course, we love God and we believe in the way that He ordained marriage. And so biblical counseling is always what we recommend. And if you need us, info at momentswiththemobleys.com. Send us a message. You can DM us, whatever that looks like. But at the end of the day, we didn't. And I know that there is so much beneficial if you do before you get married. So the counselor can bring up things like, have y'all talked about, likes and dislike in this area, intimacy, finances, rearing of children, communication, trust, traumas. All these things can be brought up so you can literally talk it through. Because if you want to not, you don't want to discipline your children, but your spouse believes in that because that's how they grew up, and then y'all get married and now y'all clashing because you spanking the kids, but she don't want you to, or he don't want you to, and now that's a whole riff in the marriage. Or if he knows how to handle finances better than you, but you don't want him to because you don't trust him like that. It's a lot of stuff so it needs to be talked about and brought out. And, y'all come to an understanding, because just like Johnny said, unexpected, communicated expectations is a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Premarital counseling, it ain't
an option.
We really believe that is a must, because a good therapist, a good counselor can give you scenarios to think about.
Right.
Because just like Deirdra said, unexpected things happen, and we real hard with it, because, we like, okay, so this is what's happening. And then boom, you get a call from the job, God forbid, and now your husband is paralyzed from the neck down.
Jesus.
Y'all been married
That's
6 months.
And in hell.
6 months. Now you're thinking, and you're overwhelmed, because in the rest of your life you're thinking, so now either I gotta help him with stuff, cleaning him, helping him go to the bathroom, or I got to hire somebody to do it. I ain't gonna be able to have sex no more. It's just a lot of things could go. But if the scenario happens, we all say we married because we love, and a lot of people use the statement that love is just not enough. It is. It is everything. It's love covers every area. So if you want to be with somebody, you want something like that, traumatics happens, then if you really care for them, what would happen is it will probably draw you closer to them in a place to where, but people go say, I still got needs, and I wasn't expected to be in a situation like this, but when you get married, it's for better or for worse. So if the worst come real early in your relationship, in your marriage, are you there, or are you going to leave? All these things need to be talked about.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
So you have to bring those type things up, and it's not to discourage you. It's just to make you think.
Yeah.
Rethink, because some people believe that they love each other until situations happen in their life that requires them to love each other.
Right. And you love each other, and here are these situations that come into play.
Yeah.
You show you love. Yeah. But a lot of people use that word loosely anyway, though. But it is, it sticking in there, hanging in there, eventually, taking divorce off the table, and us intentionally working and asking God to connect us, to mold us, to shape us, to be what we've become. That's what we move in. The fact that He created this, He sustained it, He recreated it to be something new when it was broken, and all those things is what pushes us into purpose. Is what we do daily. Like Johnny say, it's not something that you pick up and you put down. It's a lifestyle. It is something that we intentionally pour into daily. We don't wait, to do it weekly. It's done daily. And so would we change it? I know that I wouldn't. And Johnny says that he wouldn't as well. Wouldn't change it for the world. that we did. But we were willing to be stretched and to grow and to change and to evolve into who we are now, and we're still yet evolving. And so you have to make that choice and that decision for you. But think about the motives behind it. Think about why you're doing it. Think about the fact that now it's not just you that you have to think about. And so it's a lot that go into it. And like I said, I tell the girls from time to time, everybody's situation doesn't end up how ours does, but this is our story, and we've told it and we tell it all the time. But we're committed to Christ. We're committed, and I'm still following the Christ in Him, and following Him as He follows Christ. And I trust the Christ in Him as well as He trusts the Christ in me. And we love each other through Christ. And so we're able to forgive quickly before we're thinking solution minded. Be one, move as one, and commit to being with one another, loving one another, even in the hard times, and just like we lock solid. This is until death parts us. Amen.
So I'm going to read this scripture real quick.
Okay.
For everybody who always says love's just sometimes not enough. So 1 Corinthians 13:4-8 says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It does not irritate. It is not irritable. It keeps no record of being wrong. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstances. Prophecy and speaking in unknown languages and special knowledge will become useless, but love will last forever. That's really what love is. It covers every area. So, I'm dropping the mic on that.
What you dropping the mic on?
On what I just read. So, and I can honestly say that, at some point in time, me and Deirdra, we thought that love wasn't enough. I love her, but, sometimes that's just not enough. But you have to grow and mature the capacity to be exposed to other areas of love and what love really is. I don't believe that we can live our entire life and honestly, truly understand the totality of what love is. I just don't. The word says God is love, pretty much, period. So He gives us detailed characteristics of what to look for, what it is and what it's not. We failed to grab a hold of that and run with it. But the truth is, love is what God said it is. And you can feel however you want to feel through your circumstances, your environment, how you grew up, all these other things. But just like we said, if you want to understand who you are, then you go back to the one who created you.
And He is love.
Period.
Amen.
So on that, I'm out. You out with me, or you gonna stay?
No, I'm out with you, baby.
Okay, so we appreciate y'all. Please go visit our website, www.momentswiththemobleys.com. We're on all social media platforms as Moments with the Mobleys, except Twitter, which is X. Nah.
Mm-hmm.
We are Mobley Moments. Any questions, comments, anything that you have, marital questions, we definitely will get them and receive them and give our expertise on how we think you need to answer them. You can send us that at info@momentswiththemobleys.com. And we also do free consultations. So if you would like to try us, as your counselors, your therapists, your marriage coaches, however, the people with the tools to help equip you with the tools, then you can reach out to the email I just said, info@momentswiththemobleys.com. You can also go to our website and book a free consultation, and we'll get with you guys. We'll see if we are the right couple for you, as well as you seeing if we are the right couple to help you. And on that note, this has been Moments with the Mobleys. I am your man, Johnnie Mobley Jr.
I'm still his wife. I'm still his wife, Deirdra.
And we still something like ordinary couple.
With extraordinary purpose.
Peace out, y'all.
Good night. Good day. Good evening. Happy New Year.